Today marks the 70 years remembrance of the Nakba upon the Palestinian people. Nakba is an Arabic word meaning catastrophe. Catastrophe refers to the near total destruction of the Palestinian villages and society in 1948. As a result, 700,000 Palestinians flee the country and became refugees. Lifta is a live example of this. Lifta was the largest Palestinian village in the region of Jerusalem. At that time, it was a center of commerce and had 6 olive oil presses. In the years leading up to the 1948 war, the village fell under attack by Jewish militias operating in the area. 6 people were gunned down in the village coffee house by members of 2 Jewish militias.
The Nakba happened because atrocity has been committed by the Jewish forces toward Palestinian cities and villages. Here you see the very typical Palestinian house. You see over there the balcony and the arch. Ain Karam is a beautiful village. Ain, it's mean in Arabic and also in Hebrew spring. Karam is a vineyard. This village, the beautiful village, is very important in church history. This is the village of John the Baptist. This is a place where Mary met Elizabeth. And as a result, in this village, we have 5 to 6 churches. Not only churches, we have in this village monasteries, schools. It was a thriving village until 1948. Deir Yassin is a village that experienced massacre. Offshoot of some of the Jewish militant group went into the village Deir Yassin and caused major massacre in the village. And Deir Yassin have caused trauma in many of the people, including the people of Ain Karam. When I say Deir Yassin, it's not far away. As a matter of fact, it's 2 miles just north of us, not far away from here. It's not far away from Ain Karam. When the news came, the people of the village decided to send away for safety the women and the children. And matter of fact, that what led later is that during the clashes that this village has been conquered by the Jewish forces. And the people of this village have been moved out or they were not allowed to come back to their village. But this village is different than other villages. If other villages got destroyed and erased and forests been built upon them, this village, because of its historical and religious significance, the houses remain, but the people living in the houses the demography have changed quite a bit. But there is another element that when we talk about a Nakba and what's happened during that time. There are here thousands of tourists as we are sitting and talking and presenting before you the story of Ain Karam. Thus, there are Christian pilgrimage. They're coming to see Mary well. They're coming to see where John the Baptist been born. They're coming to see the beautiful churches. But they're not receiving also the story of what happened to this village in 1948. Consequences of the Palestinian tragedy in time was more on the Christian, because especially in this place like Ain Karam, in Haifa, in Jaffa, and West Jerusalem, the infrastructure of the Palestinian Christian community got lost or destroyed. Not only people lost their home, but also the Christianity that used to be more than 20% of the population of Palestine at that time, today at 2%. That's something that many times we don't talk about. many times, especially in Protestant and evangelical Christians, the emphasis is to study about Second Temple period. Then we jump to Martin Luther and Calvin, and we forget all what's happened here, and the Palestinian Christian living in the land, being like in Er Karam, believing that their presence in the holy site is a universal statement that truly Jesus born in this land. This is the land of the fathers, the land of the prophets. This is a land where Jesus taught, healed, crucified, and resurrected. And their presence in the holy sites and their identity very much connected to those sites as a universal testimony to the world. So coming to the land, you encounter the land, and when you encounter the land, it's like fifth gospel, and you encounter the people, sixth gospel. So that's the way they were seeing themselves as a testimony about what happened here 2,000 years ago. A landmark of Palestinian identity is the locality. That means when you ask somebody, from where are you? He'll say to you, I'm from America, I'm from Britain. When you ask Palestinian, from where are you? He will give you the name. I'm from Bethlehem, I'm from Lid, I'm from Nazareth. The locality is very important. It is connected to, in most cases, to a Christian site, very important holy site. And now they are finding themselves dealing with competing narrative about who is first in the land, who is the authentic people of the land, who are the people giving testimony to the land. And those theological and historical narrative are really important issues that need to be addressed and dealt with in order to understand the situation and have a proper Christian response. And many Christian groups finding themselves is drafted to the conflict where their ethnicity, their politics, and their religious, theological identification makes them stand in one side against the others. In so doing that, we miss the essence of what our Lord taught us. Love of God, love of neighbors, and many times our neighbors is our enemies. And the challenge for Christians that care for the land, that care for the people, is that in their heart, in their compassion, in their calling for peace, that in those two tragedy, two narrative, and what happened to the people of this land, when we are many times finding and want to have sympathy and compassion for the Jewish tragedy in Europe, can we have room and space also for the Palestinian tragedy that happened here in the land? If we look into the cross where the love and justice of God have met, we can find in it the sources that will help us to address the difficult, the painful, and seemingly unreconciled narrative and theology in our land. Because on the cross, God have reconciled His love and justice.